Part 114. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1133. Bite. Zhang Zizai suddenly saw that Lu Dingxing suddenly stretched out his right hand and directly blocked the edge of the Wang Chuan sword with his bloody claws. The sharp tip of the bloody claw touched the Wang Chuan sword, making it impossible for the Wang Chuan sword to move forward. This can completely show that the sharpness of these 5 bloody claws is enough to compare with the God King level weapons. With this, Lu Dingxing almost does not need to use the magic weapons. And this right hand, like the left eye, will definitely bring him more changes. It feels like there's nothing in the world that I can't tear apart, Lu Dingxing said happily. Zhang Zizai was also very happy. He guessed that the beast's claw and his left eye came from the same entity. At that time, Zhang Zizai's left eye had lost its spirit and will. Now the beast's claw did the same, and then they all became Lu Dingxing's possession. The object, the left eye, directly brought him the body of the ancient demon god. When Lu Dingxing was happy, Zhang Zizai said, "Don't rush to be happy first, be calm, and then try this God King level evolutionary source." Zhang Zizai took out the black skeleton. To be honest, he didn't know what the source of evolution was, but it was definitely better than Xuanhuan's great creation yin and yang. After all, it was the collection of the blood-mane dark unicorn. Why were Lu Dingxing and Xuanhuan so willing to sacrifice their lives for him? That's all because Zhang Zizai is really good to them. What is the source of evolution? After taking it out, no one knew it, but after taking a closer look, they knew that this was almost the top evolutionary source they had ever seen. The only thing that couldn't be compared was the chaos-devouring sky that Zhang Zizai came out of the origin dragon cave. This is the collection of the blood-mane dark unicorn, which is naturally suitable for Lu Dingxing, who practices the way of the ancient demon. Lu Dingxing took the evolutionary source in to try, while Zhang Zizai and the others were waiting outside. To be honest, he is not very worried that he will fail to evolve. Although the evolution of the God King level totem is very difficult, basically it may only succeed once in 10 times, but the efficiency of several of them has always been very high, and they come from the evolutionary world. They were all exceptionally good, so they went directly. Zhang Zizai believed that Lu Dingxing would not fail. And when you look at this evolutionary source, you can tell that it fits him very well. This evolution also didn't last long. Not long after, Lu Dingxing came out of it. The beast claws had already caused some changes in his aura. Now, looking at it again, it was simply incredible. Although his right eye was still pure, but under the blessing of the new totem, the whole person has become equivalent to a big devil. If he covers his right eye, some people will believe that he has killed tens of millions of people. It's just too vicious and brutal. To be honest, among the 4 of them, except for Xuanhuan, whose swordsmanship was upright and awe-inspiring, the other 3's auras tended to be dark. As for Zhang Zizai and Lu Dingxing is more dark, cruel, and rough, while Zhang Zizai's black dragon is mysterious and strange, difficult to understand. Today's Lu Dingxing has brought this ancient demon's temperament to the extreme. It can be clearly seen that his new totem is still the divine body enhancement type, which suits him. After all, he has been exploring this aspect of himself from beginning to end. Once he becomes the God King, he is likely to transform into a totem beast. Not only will he be proficient in all aspects of the human race, he will even be as good as the God Beast King in terms of physical and divine body. How? Zhang Zizai asked. The source of evolution is called the Great Hunshan Emperor Demon. Then he became the Demon Panda Totem of the Great Hunshan Emperor. I heard that this evolutionary source is indeed the pinnacle of the Divine King level evolutionary sources that strengthen the divine body. It should be considered one of the best. It can create the demon god body of the Great Hunshan Emperor and can crush almost all other evolutionary sources of divine bodies, Xuanhuan said seriously. He prefers to study various treasures, which is also a hobby. This kind of evolutionary source is already rare. No one had it at that time. Let's see the changes, Zhang Zizai said. Lu Dingxi next showed off his totem ability and transformed into the Great Hunshan Emperor Demon Panda. Sure enough, although he is half human and half panda, if you don't look carefully, you would probably think that he has become a totem monster, and it is even more terrifying. Yes, after transforming into the Great Hunshan Emperor Demon Panda, his left eye and right hand still looked the same as before, especially the blood-red claws in his right hand, which were as sharp as a God King level magic weapon, and were probably a huge support for him. Now, on the other hand, Xuanhuan, who may have the totem of the Great Fortune Yin-Yang Divine Sword, is no longer his opponent. They are only one step away from the realm of the Divine King. Next, I estimate that you will be able to reach 1,000 ranks on the Supreme ranking. Once you break through to the realm of the Divine Lord, you will probably be able to enter within 200, Zhang Zizai said. Both of them are extremely passionate. Just watching Zhang Zizai's progress during this period has made them very eager. After arranging them, Zhang Zizai wanted to find another evolution source for Long Yan, so that she could also have a God King totem. However, he found that when the beast claw got into Lu Dingxing's hands, it no longer seemed to have the ability to let those God Kings. The power of awe. He was extremely depressed. If he had known it, he would have searched the evolutionary world. In this way, he could only comfort himself, maybe he could find a better source of evolution for Long Yan in the future. Her God King level evolution source can be said to be very crucial. The evolutionary world was too dangerous, and she didn't want Zhang Zizai to continue taking risks. After persuasion, Zhang Zizai agreed to her. After all, he has reached the second level of the Divine Lord realm. Next, he can challenge the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield and improve his ranking. This time, his goal is to enter the top 30. Before that, he wanted to go to the Holy Dragon Mountain. Because once you enter the top 30, there will be a better place for cultivation. It is not impossible to enter the Holy Dragon Mountain at that time. Basically, you will be allowed, but you have to apply every time, and you can't go in too often. After all, it belongs to the 30th to 100th place. It is unfair to others to always go in and plunder resources. Zhang Zizai is very confident in himself, so he took advantage of his top 100 and came in again. He challenged several times in the past year and is now ranked 58th. He is very familiar with the Holy Dragon Mountain. Tuabasia and Mu Xiaoao are both frequent visitors here. Zhang Zizai came to the Chaos Golden Bell this time and found that both of them were here. After the news that Zhang Zizai got the Son of the Heavenly Artifact spread, the Zilong Academy was shocked. Before that, the Holy Dragon Mountain was almost full, and many people basically stayed here every day. Even the top 30 applied to come and try their luck. Where have you been during this period? Why haven't I seen you? Tuabasia saw him and rolled his huge body to Zhang Zizai. It didn't affect your pursuit of your goddess, aren't you secretly happy? Zhang Zizai said with a smile. Think too much, your charm is 10 streets behind mine, and it still affects my pursuit of the goddess, Tuabasia said contemptuously. He is 10,000 times more handsome than you. Mu Xiaoao said weakly beside him. Zhang Zizai coughed, and it happened that there was no one in the Chaos Golden Bell at this time. Since the two of them didn't go up, he went up directly. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1134. This Chaos Golden Bell was not the first time Zhang Zizai came here, so he was familiar with it. Similar to the Chaos Thunder Bell, this Chaos Golden Bell also showed Zhang Zizai another dragon, a platinum dragon, holy and hard, with dragon scales, dragon teeth, dragon eyes, dragon body and dragon tail, all made of platinum, emitting a dazzling light. The Chaos Golden Bell in front of him also looked like it was made of platinum, more noble and shining than gold. As usual, Zhang Zizai attacked with the 5 Emperors Dragon Seal and blasted it on the Chaos Golden Bell. His palm pressed on it, the sound kept vibrating, and the platinum wave kept bombarding Zhang Zizai, as if he had entered a white metal world, surrounded by copper walls and iron walls, impenetrable, and in this metal world, the angular platinum dragon was coiled like an iron chain, looking down at Zhang Zizai with cold eyes. It must be said that the eternal Chaos Platinum Tribulation Dragon of the Chaos Golden Bell is more sharp than the eternal Chaos Azure Thunder Tribulation Dragon. When looking at it, my eyes felt like being pierced by a spike. The practitioners of the Holy Dragon Mountain took advantage of this opportunity to communicate and exchange with the eternal Chaos Platinum Tribulation Dragon. Even if it was very small, it was very useful for their cultivation. Such a spiritual test would help them to strengthen and solidify their totem gods. Zhang Zizai did the same. But today, he felt something was different. Because just when he came in, a white dragon suddenly emerged from the huge body of the eternal Chaos Platinum Tribulation Dragon. The white dragon was also made of platinum. Almost in the first moment, the platinum dragon came in front of Zhang Zizai and wrapped around him. Boom! He came out of the metal world directly. When he was still a little stunned, he suddenly saw a platinum dragon appear in the real world, entangled with the green dragon, and always accompanied Zhang Zizai. Zhang Zizai had experience, and he was a little happy and surprised, because it meant that he might have obtained the second son of the heavenly artifact. This time was really unexpected, because he had come to this Chaos Golden Bell several times. He had tried every way before, but nothing came of it. But today, he didn't know what happened. He didn't do anything, and this platinum dragon appeared beside him. In short, it was really incredible. He now had experience. After the initial surprise, the next moment, he could communicate with the platinum dragon, and then he could clearly experience that the platinum dragon suddenly changed into a layer of golden transparent film, wrapping his whole body, making Zhang Zizai look like he was glowing, like a full set of clothes. But Zhang Zizai knew that this was definitely not as simple as a set of clothes. Although the platinum film was very thin, it was definitely transformed by the platinum dragon and came from the Chaos Golden Bell. If Zhang Zizai's enemies wanted to hurt him, they had to at least break this layer of platinum film first. From this communication, Zhang Zizai learned about the skill of the Chaos Golden Bell. It had a simple and crude name, called Platinum Bell Cover. Like the Chaos Lightning, one greatly increased Zhang Zizai's speed, and the other improved Zhang Zizai's already high defense. It was almost like giving another life. He didn't expect that he could get the second son of the heavenly artifact today. He thought about it. The only special thing today was that he was in the second level of the Divine Lord realm when he came to the Holy Dragon Mountain this time. Could it be that because my realm has been improved, I got the second son of the heavenly artifact? Zhang Zizai guessed. As for whether this guess is correct, it depends on whether he can get other sons of the heavenly god artifact when he is still in the second level of the godly lord, or whether he can get other sons of the heavenly god artifact as soon as he reaches the third level. If the latter is certain, then it can almost be proved that as long as he breaks through the realm, he can get the son of the heavenly god artifact. Zhang Zizai doesn't know why the 9-dragon Chaos God Bell favors him, but this can't be a bad thing. He is still excited now, because after getting the Platinum Bell cover, his strength can be said to be on a higher level. The key is that the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield cannot limit the performance of the Son of the Heavenly God artifact, so his future challenges should still have prospects. As soon as he came to his senses from the entanglement of the Platinum Dragon, he saw many people looking at him, especially Mu Xiaoao and Tuobisyet. They were just talking to Zhang Zizai, but within 30 breaths, Zhang Zizai actually brought back the Son of the Heavenly Artifact. Last time, after he dripped his blood to get the Son of the Heavenly Artifact, countless people followed suit, but all got nothing, and this time he clearly didn't do it. From people's eyes, it is not difficult to see jealousy and confusion. They definitely can't figure out what went wrong. Don't run away this time. Tell me how you succeeded. Share it. You can't eat for free. Mu Xiaoao rushed up directly. That's right, Zhang Zizai, don't be too stingy. Our relationship is so good, Tuabasia said eagerly. They really want to know what method Zhang Zizai used. Sorry, I really don't know, especially this time. Zhang Zizai said. Really? Or you don't want to say it? Mu Xiaoao said, a little disappointed. Brother Zhang, you are wrong to make my goddess unhappy. How about you reveal it and I will give you some other compensation, Tuabasia asked. No need. Zhang Zizai originally had a good impression of them, but after the birth of the second son of the heavenly god, their mentality seemed to be a little unbalanced, so he didn't have so much patience, so he turned around and came directly, which was indeed not very face-giving. After he left, more people gathered here. When they heard about Zhang Zizai's fortune, they were silent for a long time. The forbidden dragon god, the son of the two heavenly gods, if this person continues like this, I don't know how much fortune he will take away from our Zilong Academy. Elders, are you really not going to care? Let such a person become a strong man. Once he is on the side of the immortal venerable, it will be our disaster. This is raising an ungrateful person. Sooner or later, something will happen. The atmosphere was extremely serious. Little demon. Tuabasia wanted to say a few more words, but he didn't expect Mu Xiaoao to be in a bad mood. He said a few words and left here. Tuabasia frowned. He felt that some things might have to be dealt with, otherwise the impact on him would be huge. After Zhang Zia got the second son of the heavenly artifact, he came out of the Holy Dragon Mountain. Anyway, he had nothing to do, so he went directly to the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield. This time, he wanted to enter the top 30. One chapter today. I owe it all. I will try to update more next week and next month. During this period, the madman was preparing to move from Shenzhen to Guangzhou. Now the house over there has just been completed for the whole family, so I drove more than 200 kilometers a day, so I was basically a little tired when I came back. I will move there tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. I can write books well after I settle down. I am really sorry for delaying everyone during this period. However, I guess I will not move in the next few years. I hope everyone will understand it is a bit troublesome to transfer across cities. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1135. In the Zilong Academy, there are two places for cultivation that are more desirable than the Holy Dragon Mountain. The first is the place where the top 10 masters on the Supreme List practice. It is said that each of them can occupy a considerable space and resources. The second is the place where the 11th to 30th geniuses are qualified to practice, that is, the Hidden Dragon Sea. There is not much description about the Hidden Dragon Sea in the disciple learning rules, but Zhang Zizai has already asked carefully. In the Hidden Dragon Sea, the most famous thing is no longer the battle tactics and skills, nor the practice experience left by the ancestors, but something called the true dragon heart. The true dragon heart is hidden in the depths of the Hidden Dragon Sea. It is a kind of inexplicable divine object. Some say it is the birth of heaven and earth, and some say it comes from the place of origin. Anyway, it is elusive and traceless. It is not a divine mine, not an evolution source, not a divine medicine. It is completely independent of all existing things and cannot be positioned. The true dragon heart is in the shape of a dragon's heart. Its most important function is to assist the totem god image in establishing the dragon heart. Once the true dragon heart is obtained, it is equivalent to taking a very critical step towards the path of the God King. It is equivalent to laying a solid foundation for the God King realm. From the God image realm to the God king realm, the most important process is to make the totem God image achieve a real entity, then combine it with the flesh, and finally turn it into a real dragon, which can fight with the body of the totem giant beast, which is much stronger than the totem God image. The most difficult part of this process should be the first step. As long as this critical step is taken, it will be much easier in the future, that is, to condense the dragon heart. The totem God image gradually solidifies from the dragon heart until it finally becomes a complete entity. The true dragon heart of the hidden dragon sea can directly help any god king build the dragon heart. The dragon heart achieved with the true dragon heart can be said to be a god king without any suspense, and the future god king's cultivation path will be particularly smooth. Moreover, different types of true dragon hearts have different degrees of preciousness. The simplest true dragon heart can definitely make a god king quickly, and the best true dragon heart, from historical records, is enough to make any god king become a god in the future. This is much more powerful than the potential of a god, because potential is ultimately a constraint, and the best true dragon heart can directly determine the path to God. Since ancient times, there have not been many people who have obtained this true dragon heart, but without exception, all have become gods and are immortal. If he can enter the top 30, Zhang Zizai can also apply to enter the Holy Dragon Mountain, and he can also get the opportunity to go to the Hidden Dragon Sea to find the true dragon heart, which is obviously full of great attraction. Coming out of the Shenlong Deep Mountain, he was more confident and came directly to the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield. I don't know what happened today. There are also many people here. When Zhang Zizai arrived, not many people noticed it. He looked in the crowd and found that people were paying attention to a focus battle, one of which was a blood-eyed girl. Long Yan. She has recently set a goal for herself to reach the Holy Dragon Mountain, so she has challenged nearly 100 people in the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield. After becoming a Divine Lord, she also possessed the Mirror God image, and her strength also soared. It was no problem for her to defeat the third level of the Divine Lord realm. Her challenge was a bit like Zhang Zizai, who was clearly only at the first level of the Divine Lord realm, but was able to deal with an opponent at the third level of the Divine Lord realm in the reverse time dragon formation. Because of this, coupled with her relationship with Zhang Zizai, and the fact that she was said to have the potential of a god and the blood of the Supreme Divine Dragon, she attracted a lot of attention. His opponent seemed to be a man from the Demon Dragon Heavenly Clan, who should not be very old. After being controlled by the reverse time dragon formation, his strength was probably at the third level of the Divine Lord realm. Zhang Zizai asked, and this person's name was Xuanhuan, and his real realm was the fifth level of the Divine Lord realm. He was indeed a member of the Demon Dragon Heavenly Clan, and he was also a well-known figure in the Demon Dragon Heavenly Clan. He was very noisy, and kept talking to Long Yan during the battle, but Long Yan ignored him and focused on his attack. Her mirror god appearance attracted the attention of thousands of people. It is said that she got it from the mirror mountain of Huanlong Mountain. During that period, the mirror mountain was full of people, but no one else got the mirror god appearance. This woman has the same luck as Zhang Zizai. I can't figure it out. They are all from the small divine domain. Why are all these fortunes favoring them? It is said that she was caught by Huangfu Li and went to the Mirror Mountain, and she didn't go there on her own initiative. Huangfu Li was imprisoned in the Forbidden Dragon Black Jade for 10 years, and he hasn't come out yet. The Dragon God King is really stubborn. It is said that people from the Huangfu family personally came to him, but he ignored them. It is said that he has a great hope of becoming a god, so he is naturally arrogant, but the road to becoming a god is so difficult. Is he sure he wants to offend the Huangfu family like this? I don't know. Look, Huangfu Feng is here too. Has he not been looking for trouble with Zhang Zizai during this period? I guess he definitely wants to, but there is no suitable opportunity. He is not her sister. He will not take action without a good opportunity, but once this opportunity comes, he may kill with one blow. More people are still focusing on the battle itself. At the beginning of the battle, it seemed that Yan Huan had some advantages, but as the battle continued, Long Yan's mirror spirit played a very strong advantage with 2 against 1. Yan Huan was noisy for a long time before, and only shut up at this time. However, even if he shut up, he still couldn't stop Long Yan's assassination with the Bloodthorn of the Sky, and was defeated on the spot. It must be said that he was fighting with 2 people throughout the whole game. She was a little tired after fighting 3 rounds in a row today, so when the dragon priest asked her if she wanted to challenge again, she shook her head. After all, she was not as terrifying as Zhang Zizai, who could fight 20 rounds in a row. Miss Yan'er, don't go. Just after coming down from the anti-time dragon formation, when many people were still looking at her in amazement, a man caught up with her. It was Yan Huan. He was not depressed at all after the defeat, but smiled and asked, "To be honest, after this competition, I admire you very much. Can I ask you a question?" He looked very sincere, but Long Yan still didn't want to pay attention. She basically didn't say a word when she was not around Zhang Zizai. However, Yan Huan still caught up with him quickly and said with a smile, "Excuse me, on the day you and Zhang Zizai got married, the immortal venerable appeared like this, and then he abandoned you. What else do you expect from him now?" After being defeated, he looked for someone's scar to humiliate him. This person is really insidious. Long Yan paused for a moment, and when she turned back her eyes were already very cold, but outside the anti-time dragon formation, the opponent was indeed older, and his strength was no longer something she could suppress, so even if it was the 9 deaths killing wool, it would not have much lethality to him. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1136. Zhang Ziyi was just about to go over to join her when he heard Yan Huan being so shameless. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. The key point is that he didn't care about Long Yan's eyes at all, and he came up again, almost standing in front of her, and said, "Why bother, you are so perfect, there is no need to mix with such people. In fact, I think you have a real future. It's better to break up with Zhang Ziyi as soon as possible." Since Zhang Ziyi was here, he didn't want her to face such a shameless person. He was nearby, and suddenly accelerated at this time, and appeared in front of Long Yan in an instant. This was the speed of chaos lightning. To be honest, outside this reverse time dragon formation, Yan Huan was completely unprepared, so Zhang Ziyi suddenly slapped him in front of him. Yan Huan didn't see who he was clearly, and hurriedly resisted, and was directly blown away and hit hard on a stone pillar. Poof! Because it came so suddenly, he was seriously injured. When he stood up, he spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. At this time, he had already seen clearly who was standing next to Long Yan. It was Zhang Zizai, who was dressed in black. His eyes were cold and penetrated Yan Huan's mind. "You dare to touch me?" Yan Huan's eyes were murderous, and he walked forward directly. "If you come one step closer, I'll chop off your legs." Zhang Zizai's eyes pierced his consciousness. He suddenly froze for a moment and didn't even move forward. "Dragon Master, please punish Zhang Zizai." Yan Huan was timid. He changed his mind and quickly spoke to the Dragon Masters on the spot. "He attacked me outside the anti-time dragon formation. You cursed first, I didn't take revenge on you after being defeated. Moreover, you were defeated by a girl, but you came down to seek comfort with dirty words. Aren't you ashamed?" Zhang Zizai said sarcastically. Yan Huan saw that the Dragon Masters did not react, and he was immediately furious. He was quite irritable, but Zhang Zizai now made him a little afraid to move forward. After all, he was not in the right now, and his behavior just now was also despised by some people. "Yan Huan, come back." The speaker was a black young man, who was standing in a group of geniuses from the Demon Dragon Heavenly Clan, and obviously occupied a core position. Zhang Zizai glanced at the man. Outside the reverse dragon formation, this man's strength of the 9th level of the God King was indeed much stronger than Zhang Zizai. He was stronger than the God King of Tiandu. Counting it, this is also half an elder. Zhang Zizai knew this person. His name was Yan Hai. He was a figure of the Demon Dragon Heavenly Clan, and it was said that it would not take long for him to become a God King. He was of the same type as Huangfu Feng. Brother Hai, I can't just let it go. Yan Huan gritted his teeth. There are many people who have the opportunity, Yan Hai said lightly. Yan Huan understood. He knew that during this period, Yan Hai and Huangfu Feng and others had a good relationship. Tongdao obviously means like-minded. Now only Zhang Zizai can make this group of people like-minded. An elder still defends, but they already think that the person is unforgivable. Yan Huan left in disgrace and went to Yan Hai. Yan Hai coughed a few times, didn't look at Zhang Zizai, and continued to chat and laugh with the people next to him, as if what happened just now was completely insignificant. This storm seemed to have passed. Zhang Zizai and Yan'er smiled slightly and said, "Don't leave yet, let me play with you." "Are you going up again?" "I've finally caught up to the Holy Dragon Mountain." Long Yan stuck out her tongue. Sure enough, she came here alone to challenge because she thought of practicing in a place with Zhang Zizai. "It's okay, it may not succeed." "If I can, you can too." Soon Zhang Zizai thought it would be nice to gently stroke her long hair, but there were too many people watching around, so it was not very convenient. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned and headed towards the direction of several dragon sacrifice masters. Today, Qinjian God King was not here, so he randomly found a dragon sacrifice master, and then looked up at the supreme ranking. In the past 6 months, he has been ranked more than 50. He challenged several times some time ago, and all of them were thrilling victories, but now it is completely different. His eyes were at the level of 40th place, and he instantly locked on a person. Yan Hai was still laughing and chatting with the people around him. He was the kind of person with very high qualifications, and others also took him as the leader when they talked and laughed. At this time, he suddenly heard someone calling his name. He was too lazy to pay attention. It turned out to be a dragon sacrifice master. He asked, "Yan Hai, someone challenges you, do you accept it?" Come next time. Yan Hai came to watch the younger generation of the family fight today, and he didn't want to participate in the battle. "Look who issued the challenge to you." Yan Hai was stunned for a moment, and looked in front of the dragon sacrifice master. Yes, it was Zhang Zizai. He was stunned for a moment, then looked at the supreme ranking and found that Zhang Zizai was really qualified to challenge him. "Brother Yan, don't you seize the opportunity?" Suddenly someone looked at him. It was Huangfu Feng, who was not far away. His eyes were blazing. Next to him was Mu Xiaoxian, who had been very close to him recently. Of course. Yan Hai smiled. He was not very emotional. He even wanted to laugh. He was challenged by a little guy who was only at the 2nd level of the Divine Lord realm. The Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield was really magical. Something that could be crushed to death with one hand also had the style of challenging himself. He had never been weakened to more than 20 years old by the time-reversing dragon formation, so he was looking forward to it. So he walked onto the platform and waited for Zhang Zizai directly, saying, "Come up." Okay, Zhang Zizai instantly boarded the battlefield. The two were on the verge of a fight. Although they didn't say much, the flavor between them had already reached its peak. For a moment, the scene was suffocating. This person's God King level totem was called the 5-headed Purgatory Dragon Totem. When the totem's divine appearance was revealed, it had become illusory after being weakened by the reverse time dragon formation. In fact, his totem's divine appearance was already completely solid, and it was just one step away from being integrated into the divine body. It was a dark dragon with 5 heads, very bloody and brutal, and full of ferocity. He had a God King level divine weapon, but Zhang Zizai was much younger, so he couldn't use it. However, the Black Sky Demon Sword in his hand was also a very scary God King level divine weapon. Just as they were about to take action, in another direction, next to Huang Fufeng and Mu Xiaoxian, Zhang Zizai's two old friends Tuabaxia and Mu Xiaoao also rushed here. As soon as they arrived, Mu Xiaoao was called to her side by her sister. "Sister, this is unbelievable," Mu Xiaoao said angrily. "What do you mean?" Mu Xiaoxian caressed her sister's head affectionately. "This guy has got good luck again," Mu Xiaoao said angrily. When she just said this, a fierce battle was already going on the battle stage. When people were about to watch carefully, the battle was over suddenly. Yan Hai, who was at the 9th level of the godly realm, didn't hold on for 3 breaths and fell to the ground. Chapter 2. I have to go back to Shenzhen to move some things tomorrow. Basically, it will be completely done the day after tomorrow. When it is completely stable, I will give back to everyone. Hold on a little longer. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1137. When he was at the first level of the Divine Sovereign Realm, he could suppress Huangfu Li, who was at the 4th level of the Divine Sovereign Realm in the time reverse dragon formation, by relying on the source of destruction, the Holy Dragon Celestial Body, and the Forbidden Dragon Divine Aspect. Not to mention that now, it has reached the 2nd level of the Divine Lord Realm, and it also has the abilities of Chaos Lightning and Platinum Bell, which come from the heavenly artifact. Yan Hai is a top powerhouse close to the God King. He is equivalent to a figure in the Holy Dragon Celestial clan who can almost be the leader of a tribe. However, in the counter-time dragon formation, he is also the 4th level of the God King realm. Compared with Zhang Zizai, the fact that he has not reached the 4th level in age shows that he has extraordinary talents. However, facing the current Zhang Zizai, he has almost no power to fight back. So Zhang Zizai was able to crush him in an instant only because of his strength. It's just that such strength is really unbelievable to everyone in the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield. Yan Hai fell to the ground directly, which was equivalent to being severely injured in the anti-time dragon formation. Even if he left the anti-time dragon formation, the effect would be similar. What's going on with Yan Hai? Are you here to fake it? No, what's the point? There was no gambling and no gain. Yan Hai had no need at all and deliberately lost to Zhang Zizai. And at this time, the dragon sacrifice master who arranged the battle was speechless. He was silent for a long time before changing the rankings of Zhang Zizai and Yan Hai on the supreme list. This means that even the dragon sacrifice master believes that the huge gap between them is actually real. This is a bit scary. So that Yan Hai finally got up, his face was very ugly, pale, and bloodless. No one sympathized with him, but everyone frowned at Zhang Zizai. Although his level is not high now, is this person really cheating? All the way up from the supreme ranking, with a background in the little god realm, to where you are today. I accept, please go down. Zhang Zizai seemed to have defeated an insignificant opponent, and there was no respect in the eyes of Yan Hai at all. Yan Hai's face was extremely struggling. He knew how embarrassed he was at this time, but Huangfu Li's lesson learned from his past, and he had to be alert. At this time, he could only grit his teeth and walk off the fighting platform, letting a group of younger brothers and sisters support him. He didn't say anything, he just looked at each other and Huang Fufeng, just a look that almost confirmed their consensus. Perhaps in the future, we will join forces for this kind of consensus. Yan Hai, Yan Huan, and others left in disgrace as people watched. What, the 9th level of the Divine King realm, he was defeated so miserably, Mu Xiaoao said, a little disappointed. Little demon, you can't blame Yan Hai for this. Zhang Zizai's fighting ability is indeed outstanding, Huang Fufeng said calmly. It's quite interesting. Maybe Xiaoao is not his opponent, and you happen to be about the same age, Mu Xiaoxian said with a smile. Sister, you underestimate me. He is about the same age as me. If I fight him, I can use God King level weapons. In front of God King level weapons, everything about him is like a paper tiger. This guy is not kind, even if I want him to tell me some tricks, he is very stingy. But, not everyone is willing to share such an important thing with you, Mu Xiaoxian said with a smile. Humph, I just hate it. Yes, it's annoying. Very annoying. Tuabasia kept nodding beside him. You hate it too. Seeing him, Mu Xiaoao became more and more angry. No matter how nice he was to her, it was useless. She wanted to get the son of the divine weapon, but he had no way to do it. Mu Xiaoao was getting angry when suddenly Mu Xiaoxian patted her shoulder, pointed at Zhang Zizai, and then pointed at the red dot behind Mu Xiaoao's name on the supreme list. No one had challenged her just now because of the rules. After the modification, it is very beneficial to Mu Xiaoao. She can use the God King level totem weapons to deal with those who are stronger than herself. She is very hopeful to catch up with her sister and Huangfu Feng and enter the top 30 on the supreme list. Of course, among the top 30 on the supreme list, there are probably only 1 or 2 who do not have God King level weapons. And now, someone challenges her. Who is it? She was irritated. No, where is he? Mu Xiaoxian pointed at Zhang Zizai and said. This stinky bastard. He doesn't tell me how to do it, but he still wants my ranking. Thanks to me for smiling playfully at him, he doesn't know that there are basically no people willing to talk to him now, Mu Xiaoao said angrily, biting her pink lips. Is the little demon interested in him? It feels a bit like love and hate, Mu Xiaoxian teased. Stop talking nonsense. Mu Xiaoao knew that this was completely impossible. She was the center of attention wherever she was, but Zhang Zizai never looked at him. Now everyone was looking at him to see if she dared to accept Zhang Zizai's challenge. She was reluctant to lose her ranking again, but now it was difficult to get off the tiger, and she had gas in her stomach. As soon as her brain became hot, she walked out directly. Said, I accept your challenge. She and Zhang Zizai are the same age. At their age, they are both ranked among the top 3 in the entire Supreme Dragon clan. In the past 20 years, Mu Xiaoao can be said to be the proud daughter of the Supreme Dragon clan. She stepped onto the fighting stage, and neither of them was weakened in any way. This was a battle where the dragon array against time did not perform well. Zhang Zizai had known for a long time that she had a God King level totem weapon, and her use of the God King level totem weapon was definitely much better than Xuanhuan's. Sorry, there are more than 30 people here, and you are the only one here. I can only challenge you, Zhang Zizai said. You want to enter the top 30 and go to the Hidden Dragon Sea? Mu Xiaoao asked in public. Yes. You will not enter the Holy Dragon Mountain again. That's not the case. I have to go in if I have a chance to see if I can get the son of other heavenly artifacts. Humph. Are you still unwilling to tell me the way? Mu Xiaoao said angrily. It's not that I don't want to, but I really can't explain it clearly. It was this 9-dragon Chaos God Bell that took the initiative to choose me, Zhang Zizai said with a headache. You fart. Mu Xiaoao didn't believe it at all. Her cute and charming appearance can make many people smile knowingly. They just think that this girl is very attractive, but for Zhang Zizai, challenging her is an attempt. He wants to try. What strength can a God King level totem weapon have? I defeat you, and you tell me the way. Okay, Mu Xiaoao still insisted. There is really no way. If you do this again, I will beat you up, Mu Xiaoao said. Then you should beat me up. Zhang Zizai said. He was more angry than Mu Xiaoao. But in fact, Zhang Zizai knew that, despite her cuteness, she was truly a super genius of the Supreme Dragon clan. At this age, she was at the 4th level of the Divine Lord realm. How much stronger was she than Bai Mu? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1138. The key is that she is not only a combination of supreme dragon blood and divine potential, but also has a king-level totem weapon. It is quite good to have such an achievement. It is just that Zilong Academy has geniuses of all ages, so she is not so outstanding. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow diamond suit. After making Zhang Zizai angry, she directly took action. In the first moment, she showed her totem appearance. Her totem is called, Nine Heavens Mysterious Immortal Dragon Totem. Zhang Zizai has seen the totems of the Dragon Clan, the Demon Dragon Clan and the Demon Dragon Clan, but it is the first time to see the Immortal Dragon Clan. It must be said that the dragon shown by the totem appearance of the Dragon Clan is absolutely beautiful to the extreme. This Nine Heavens Mysterious Immortal Dragon is like this, with snow-white dragon scales, antlers like gems, and fairy air all over the body. Everything is so holy and out of this world, not eating worldly fireworks. Under the coiling of this snow-white dragon, Mu Xiaoao's temperament is even more moving. Her temperament is indeed the opposite of Long Yan. Zhang Zizai has too many rough dragon totems around him, and this is the first time he has seen such a beautiful one. Such a totem god image is wrapped around him, which is really very beautiful. However, he is not only good looking, but also has a very terrifying divine power. 9 shadows appeared beside this totem god image Ju Tian Xian Xian Long. These 9 shadows are very thin, far less solid than the totem god image, and may be more illusory than the totem god image of the first level of the God Lord, but there are 9 in total, around Ju Tian Xian Xian Long. This is the characteristic of its totem, Ju Tian Xian transformation. These 9 illusory shadows have some abilities of the totem god image. Although it is impossible to be like Long Yan's mirror god image, the 9 together basically have the lethality of half a totem god image. This is an important part of its ability. This is also one of the reasons why Mu Xiaoao can suppress others. But in the next moment, something even more terrifying appeared, that is, the harp in her hand. This harp is so big that her fingers feel like they can dance in it. When this harp appears, it feels like the Wang Chuan sword, which is a higher level of power. This is her God King level magic weapon, named, Jingtan Xianqin. It is said that she was recognized by Jingtan Xianqin when she just became a god, and she has made great progress since then. The key is that at this time, this Jingtan Xianqin was placed directly on the platform and continued to grow. Soon it was as tall as more than a dozen people. At this time, the shadows of the 9 heavens mysterious immortal dragons were all entangled on the strings of the harp, and even the totem god was entangled down, as if the palm of the hand was dancing in the strings. And Mu Xiaoao herself was dancing even more. After the Jingtan Xianqin became bigger, she couldn't play it with her fingers. She played it with her body and danced in it. When she danced, she was extremely moving, like a fairy, and many people who were much older than her were obsessed. She was indeed very beautiful, but it was a pity that Zhang Zizai had no qualities. When the opponent showed extremely strong lethality, he looked cold and only wanted to fight. Because, Mu Xiaoao was not the final opponent for him, but a transition. At this time, Mu Xiaoao attacked first. Her people and totem gods, including the 9 heavens immortal transformation, cooperated with each other to play the harp directly. It is said that what he played seemed to be called 9 heavens falling galaxy song. This song was passionate, like the stars of the Milky Way falling above the 9 heavens, crossing the brilliant tracks, and these brilliant tracks burst out directly on the strings, forming a very shining sword energy. That's right, the Jington Immortal Harp is actually a sword. All its strings are actually sword blades. When Mu Xiaoao played on it, the Jington Immortal Sword Chi burst out, like the nine heavens Milky Way, tearing the world apart and stabbing Zhang Zizai. The power of the God King level totem weapon burst out at this time, and Zhang Zizai finally saw it. It was absolutely irresistible. Yan Hai just now couldn't stand Mu Xiaoao, who could use it. Mu Xiaoao herself must be looking for an opportunity to challenge Kang Longhai. Unfortunately, she met Zhang Zizai. And now Zhang Zizai is enough to compete with stronger ones. So, what people saw was a blue lightning flashing in the dense Jington Xianji Unqi. So many Jington Xianji Unqi didn't hit him. At the same time, Zhang Zizai's totem god was also taking shape. The strange black dragon was dark, and the black and white Jushan Xianxian dragon formed a very sharp contrast. Hit. Many people saw it very clearly. Zhang Zizai's chaos lightning was indeed very fast, but Mu Xiaoao was a totem weapon of the God King level after all, and with her Nine Heavens Immortal transformation, she could play several times more Jington Xianji Unqi than others. With such dense sword qi, there was always a chance to avoid it. Zhang Zizai was indeed hit, and several Jington Xianji Unqi hit him. Originally, it was thought that Zhang Zizai would be stabbed into a hornet's nest, but what no one expected was that the God King level Jington Xianji Unqi blocked a layer of platinum film on the surface of his body. People clearly saw that it was transformed by the white dragon next to Zhang Zizai. Even if he was hit occasionally, he was unharmed, and at this time he had already come to Mu Xiaoao's eyes. At this moment, his huge totem god image directly turned into a vortex, blocking him in front of him, and for a time he endured thousands of Jington Xianji Unqi. Looking for death. People were somewhat puzzled. Such an action would undoubtedly cause the totem god phase to be torn apart, and then lose most of its combat power. Zhang Zizai actually suppressed the opponent's totem god phase's ability with the forbidden dragon god phase, otherwise Mu Xiaoao would be even more powerful. Break. Mu Xiaoao was afraid that he would not fight her head-on. At this time, she was happy and played the song more fiercely. But in the next moment, she was puzzled to see that countless Jington Xian sword qi turned black and emerged from the black vortex, and then stabbed at her like a downpour. When the black and white Jington Xian sword qi collided, a harsh sound was made, which made countless people frown. Then people saw dully that Zhang Zizai had appeared behind her at some point and blocked her with a time and space cage. For a time, it was completely silent. The battle started quickly and ended quickly. Zhang Zizai controlled her life and death, and basically won. Mu Xiaoao still didn't understand, but she was peeled off from the Jington Xianqin by Zhang Zizai, and the power of time and space pierced her body, feeling cold. Sorry, you have to go to Kang Longhai and challenge 2 more games, but I think you should be fine. Zhang Zizai smiled. Chapter 2, Today is the last day of work, and the normal update will start tomorrow. I will occasionally add more chapters after a few days. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1139. Although Mu Xiaoao was not injured like Yan Hai, it was a fact that she was defeated by Zhang Zizai. There was no doubt about this. So even if Mu Xiaoao was still unwilling, she and Zhang Zizai had already exchanged places on the supreme ranking. Now she was really crying without tears. She hated him enough to begin with, and now she was even more furious. I really didn't expect that Mu Xiaoao would be defeated using the totem weapon of the God King level. Normally, the totem weapon of the God King level can crush the same realm. But Zhang Zizai is only at the 2nd level of the God Lord realm. Remember that he became a God Lord after coming to the Zilong Academy. It is impossible for him to reach the 3rd level of the God Lord now, and Mu Xiaoao's realm is the 4th level of the God Lord. Even if he has the Forbidden Dragon God phase, what advantages does he have to defeat Mu Xiaoao who has the totem weapon of the God King level? People have become more and more unbelievable about Zhang Zizai's fighting power. Such a dangerous person to them, but repeatedly improved on the supreme list with such miraculous lethality. Seeing his talent getting older and more against the sky, people are powerless. This feeling is really unacceptable. Therefore, the stronger he is, the worse the faces of many people are. However, Zhang Zizai doesn't care. He still wants to get more in this Zilong Academy. In this place, talent is the most powerful weapon. Be good, go down, I have something to do. After Zhang Zizai dealt with Mu Xiaoao, everyone knew that he would not be able to leave the battle stage at this time. Sure enough, he was still there. I wish you can't enter the top 30, Mu Xiaoao stomped her feet angrily and ran down the battle stage, which was very cute. Unfortunately, after the defeat, even if everyone knew that she was the top 3 figures of the entire Supreme Dragon clan in the past 20 to 30 years, no one paid attention to her. Because when Zhang Zizai was still on the battle stage, everyone would know that his target this time was Kang Glonghai, and the person he wanted to challenge was definitely Huang Fufeng. Among the top 30, Zhang Zizai, who ranked in the 20s, knew Huang Fufeng and Mu Xiaoxian. He had no grudge against Mu Xiaoxian, but he had many conflicts with Huang Fufeng. With such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, how could he challenge others? Therefore, many people's eyes were on Huang Fufeng, who was surrounded by people under the platform. Huang Fufeng did not chat and laugh with Mu Xiaoxian this time, and his expression was rather cold. However, everyone knew that because of the matter of Huang Fuli, he probably wanted to kill Zhang Zizai a lot during this period, but he failed to implement it. Zhang Zizai, don't you know Huang Fufeng a little bit? Probably, after all, the two are not from the same era. Zhang Zizai can only touch it in the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield and the Supreme List. Huang Fufeng defeated even the God King some time ago. He is still young now, but when he was Zhang Zizai's age, he was unparalleled and was called a peerless genius. Several gods of the Huangfu family all agreed that he was the most likely to become the God King in the Huangfu family in 100,000 years. To be honest, there is no ordinary person who can rank in the top 30 on the Supreme List and can practice in the Hidden Dragon Sea. Huang Fufeng may become a God King and graduate at any time. I guess what he is worried about now is that he will become a God King too quickly and graduate early, then he will have no chance to make Zhang Zizai suffer again. In fact, apart from the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield, their group of God Kings at the 1st to 9th level should be the high-level existence of the Zilong Academy. They are basically leaders and naturally have some responsibilities. The elders put Zhang Zizai here. Is it a hint that they want us to solve it here? Yes, if such a person wants to be the Immortal Venerable, or as long as the Immortal Venerable gives him some temptation, he will be caught. He is from the small divine domain, and his heart will definitely not be with our Supreme Dragon clan, so I think we must not let him become so powerful. Sooner or later, he will be a threat to us. That depends on whether people like Huang Fufeng are brave enough. In fact, today may be an opportunity for Huang Fufeng to kill Zhang Zizai. Does he think so himself? He is rarely so serious, maybe it really is. Amid people's discussions and heated discussions, as expected, Zhang Zizai told the Dragon Sacrifice Master that he wanted to continue the challenge. Huang Fufeng, Zhang Zizai said lightly without any hesitation. Yes. It depends on whether he accepts your challenge. The Dragon Priest looked at Huang Fufeng, waiting for his answer. Interesting, I'm curious, can you deal with him? Mu Xiaoxian smiled softly. Speaking of which, she is indeed more attractive than her sister. While she is delicate and graceful, she also has a hint of charm. Her smiles and frowns occasionally make people unable to stop. What if it's possible? Huang Fufeng asked with a smile. What do you think? Mu Xiaoxian asked. Can we travel together in the Hidden Dragon Sea? Huang Fufeng asked. Mu Xiaoxian giggled. Of course, she knew what Huang Fufeng meant to her. Even if she couldn't marry outside, he wanted a chance to get close to him. Promising him to travel together in the Hidden Dragon Sea and practice together was equivalent to giving him many opportunities for development. No problem, Mu Xiaoxian said in a soft voice. That soft voice was simply numb. Okay, Huang Fufeng nodded. In this way, defeating Zhang Zizai would not only be a matter of revenge for Huang Fuli, but also have a layer of meaning in it, such as the opportunity to spend every day with a rare beauty who can be compared with himself. Work harder, otherwise, he might be the one who travels with me in Kanglongsi. Mu Xiaoxian covered her mouth and chuckled, turning the world upside down. Once defeated, he would lose the qualification of Kanglongsi, that's for sure. The top 30 on the supreme list are all favored by heaven. Huang Fufeng may have the ability to challenge back to the top 30, but as long as he loses today, his reputation may be almost ruined. But the key is, will he lose? He smiled, because he had never worried about it. When he was in his 20s, he knew very well how powerful he was. In fact, at that time, he already controlled the totem weapon of the God King level. It's just that today, due to the rules, he couldn't use it like Mu Xiaoao, but even if everything else was, it was enough to deal with Zhang Zizai. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1140. He vaguely remembered that at that time, he seemed to have just entered the 5th level of the Godly Lord realm. To be honest, at this age, he is probably in the top 10 of the Supreme list, all at this level. This is already the highest level of the entire Supreme Dragon clan. It is even more difficult after the 6th level of the Godly Lord realm. The next journey to the Godly King realm is not so easy. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow Diamond Suit. Diamond Suit. Zhang Zizai is already on the battlefield. The eye-catching battle has once again attracted countless attention. There are exciting dramas every day in this Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield, and every battle related to the top 30 of the Supreme list is particularly exciting. Today is a heavyweight confrontation, and with Zhang Zizai's special identity, it is even more passionate. Many people even guessed that there would be such a thing, and directly asked their friends to come and join in the fun in advance. In the eyes of Huang Fufeng, who was comparable to the God King level, stepped onto the battlefield with the anti-time dragon formation. When the two stood facing each other on the battlefield, there was really a feeling of a storm coming. Huang Fufeng was sensing the changes in his own power. After adapting for a while, he smiled. Looking at Zhang Zizai's eyes, he seemed to be much more relaxed. At your age, I just broke through to the 5th level of the God King realm. This is the highest level of the Supreme Dragon clan at your age, almost from ancient times to the present. Oh! Zhang Zizai knew that he was difficult to deal with and knew that Kanglonghai was not easy to enter, but all this could not stop his crazy burning fighting spirit at this moment. There was no need to say more about the duel between men. Zhang Zizai knew how much he wanted to teach himself a lesson. He also knew how much he wanted to defeat this opponent and go to Kanglonghai to take a look. This was enough. Kill. In this moment, the two of them acted almost at the same time and collided in the blink of an eye. Huang Fufeng, who comes from the Dragon clan, has been a genius since he was a child. If it weren't for the time-reversing dragon formation, he could have crushed Zhang Zizai with one hand. Zhang Zizai had already set his stage goal as him, so he had studied Huang Fufeng. He has a top-level totem of the God King level, which is said to be the one that can rank among all the God King level totems. Name, Eternal Chaos Star Dragon Totem. This is somewhat similar to the gods in the 9 Dragons Chaos God Bell, but in fact, it has nothing to do with each other. Because those gods are not totems, nor are they necessarily divine beasts. The Eternal Chaos Star is a terrible source of evolution. Its power is somewhat similar to that of the Eternal Chaos Blue Thunder Tribulation Dragon, etc., and they all have the power of eternal chaos. This kind of power has an ancient history, is heavy and violent, and cannot be resisted by ordinary people. At this time, his totem image has been revealed. It is a dragon burning with golden flames. When this dragon coils behind Xuanhuan, it looks like a star burning with endless flames. This is not the same concept as the Chu family's 9-sun totem in the small divine domain. This is the eternal chaos star. When this totem image appeared, Zhang Zizai had already felt its horror. He has the support of the 5th level of the God Lord. Even in the reverse dragon formation, the power of this eternal chaos star is enough to cause waves of exclamations. Although everyone is outside the reverse dragon formation and cannot feel the burning power of this eternal chaos star, they can imagine it. In an instant, it can be said that the entire range of the battle stage is shrouded by a furnace of flames. In this furnace, everything in the world will be burned to ashes, not to mention Zhang Zizai himself. His flesh and blood body was almost smoking in the eternal chaotic star transformed by the dragon. Fortunately, he now had the platinum bell cover. The golden film finally allowed him to withstand the lethality of the opponent's totem god. In addition, at this time, Zhang Zizai's totem god Chaos Devouring Sky Dragon had also been born. The natural power of the forbidden dragon god suppressed the power of the opponent's totem god. Only then did he feel a little better. He was really a little breathless just now. There was really no place to hide in the dazzling star in front of him. But for Xuanhuan, the battle was just beginning. He narrowed his eyes, probably because he was surprised that Zhang Zizai could hold on to the power of his totem, but then he shook his head and smiled, saying, "He has some skills, but unfortunately, in the face of absolute strength, no matter how many means he has, they are all messy." A golden sword appeared in his hand. This sword was sharp and domineering, with the aura of the Holy Emperor. It was called Emperor Shishan sword. This was not his strongest weapon, but it was the weapon he had used the longest, and he had already mastered it. When he held the sword, the dragon coiled behind him and turned into an eternal chaotic star, almost swallowing him up. At this time, Xuanhuan was like a god descending from heaven, and all things trembled. His sword could take out endless power in the scorching sun behind him and integrate it into the sword. Such a Xuanhuan is indeed brilliant. But Zhang Zizai's totem god was not to be outdone. The black dragon was also behind Zhang Zizai, serving as a strong support. When Zhang Zizai faced the extremely shining and burning star, his dragon turned into a black vortex that was almost the same size as the eternal chaotic star. The vortex spun like the origin dragon cave, and was extremely terrifying. On the battlefield, the golden sun and the black vortex were facing each other in the air. In between them were Zhang Zizai and Xuanhuan. At this time, Xuanhuan was the first to suppress him. He used the Emperor Shi Tian sword in his hand to directly display his unique skill that made him famous at the beginning, the Heavenly Emperor Sword Dao. The Heavenly Emperor Sword Dao is a battle tactic of the God King level. He started practicing it when he was about 20 years old. He has fully learned it so far. At that time, he had already comprehended 2 of the swords. The first sword, Annihilation. The Emperor Shi Tian sword was like being forged in the scorching sun, integrating too much power of the eternal chaotic stars. At this time, it burst out. The seemingly simple swordsmanship has unimaginable mystery. Xuanhuan's move really shows his supreme talent. The Heavenly Emperor Sword Dao, a move of annihilation, has already swept across the battlefield. A sword energy has divided thousands of flame networks, almost blocking all of Zhang Zizai's ways. At this moment, Xuanhuan is like the Emperor of Heaven descending. Such majesty makes people have nowhere to hide. People have seen that Zhang Zizai has been oppressed much more terribly than before. As expected, he really used the chaos lightning and dodged whenever he could. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1141. The speed of Chaos Lightning was so fast that even Huangfu Li couldn't catch up with him at his peak. Facing Huangfu Feng at this time, he actually had a great advantage. Moreover, his platinum bell cover also had a great advantage, which basically made him invincible in a short period of time. After that, it was Huangfu Feng who was always attacking, and Zhang Zizai either hit, resisted, or swallowed the opponent's attack directly with the black vortex behind him. Originally thought it would be a fierce fight, but it turned out to be Huangfu Feng's one-sided crushing. Under his fatal oppression, Zhang Zizai seemed to have no power to resist at all. But anyone with a vision could see that Zhang Zizai actually had enough ability to withstand Huangfu Feng's violent attack. His Chaos Lightning could completely dodge Huangfu Feng's edge. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. His Platinum Bell can also withstand a large part of the terrifying burning of the Heavenly Emperor Sword Dao and the Eternal Chaos Star. And his Totem God appearance is still weird, and the Black Vortex seems to be swallowing and constantly changing, becoming more and more weird. All life and death are in this contest. Maybe he was a little disappointed that he still couldn't defeat Zhang Zizai, so after the first sword of the Heavenly Emperor Sword Dao didn't have much effect, Huangfu Feng directly changed his moves and used the second move, Reincarnation. His long sword drew a circle in the sky, and the power of the Eternal Chaos Star was infused into it, directly turning into a fireball with endless sword energy, smashing towards Zhang Zizai violently. This is not just one, but countless. Huangfu Feng is high above, and at this time it is like he has the ability to make the sun fall. Thousands of suns are almost swallowing Zhang Zizai. He was quite courageous, and directly used the Totem God image to block it, swallowing the golden sun one by one. Aren't you afraid of being overwhelmed? Huangfu Feng sneered in his heart. This was the power of his Heavenly Emperor Sword Dao reincarnation and the Eternal Chaotic Star. The setting sun looked terrifying enough. Zhang Zizai actually wanted to digest it directly with the Totem God image. How could this be possible? Huangfu Feng knew that the power of his Heavenly Emperor Sword Dao was not at the same level as Mu Xiaoao's ability just now. Since Zhang Zizai dared to bear it head-on, he was waiting to burst him. If you didn't have the Forbidden Dragon God image to suppress the power of my Totem God image, you would have died long ago. Huangfu Feng's eyes were cold, but he was actually talking to himself. Many people have died in the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield, and most of them were killed by mistake. Today, I can also make a mistake. He smiled strangely, and increased the output of his ancient god source power with the Sword of Reincarnation. Once Zhang Zizai couldn't hold on, he would definitely be overwhelmed. In such a situation, seeing that Zhang Zizai had been passively enduring, many people were already very excited. It was boring to see Zhang Zizai's unstoppable momentum every time. Now there were many people who wanted to teach him a lesson. If Huangfu Feng won, it would actually be their victory. This situation that seemed to be about to collapse did not last long. They were indeed waiting for Zhang Zizai to collapse, but they did not expect that his black vortex suddenly stopped spinning and changed suddenly. After swallowing tens of millions of golden reincarnation suns, the black vortex suddenly changed and expanded, turning into a black star with black light shining. On this battlefield, a second sun appeared in an instant. People were simply stunned, looking at the black sun like fools. This black sun was now even bigger than the golden eternal chaos star. It was behind Zhang Zizai, and under its support, Zhang Zizai looked even more ferocious. Moreover, the black sun transformed by Zhang Zizai's totem statue is also the power of the eternal chaos star. Except for the color, there is almost no difference. The biggest difference is that Zhang Zizai is more unstable, more irritable, more fierce, and full of destructive breath. This is the power given to him by his chaos-devouring heaven. At this time, Zhang Zizai did not say much. His eyes were very cold, with only infinite fighting spirit in them. He smiled coldly, and then directly pushed the Black Sun to Huangfufeng, saying, "Don't you want to fight hard? Come on." In an instant, the black eternal chaos star rose and rushed to Huangfufeng's eyes. At that moment, Huangfufeng frowned and sweated on his face. He squinted his eyes and his hair was a little hot. Even though he was a little confused about Zhang Zizai, he also suppressed him with his totem statue in such an exciting occasion. Two suns of different colors suddenly collided on this battlefield. At that moment, the light shone, the sound of the explosion shook the battlefield, the dazzling light and flames completely engulfed the entire anti-time dragon formation, and even the entire Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield seemed to be trembling. And they were all focused, they watched the changes in the two people, and watched what would happen after the final confrontation between the two people. In fact, it can be seen that it seems that the Black Sun collapses faster, but after the collapse, the power of the explosion is even more terrifying, which originally came from Huangfufeng's power. Are the totem gods of the two people shattered? In this case, Zhang Zizai will definitely lose without the totem god and the forbidden dragon god. He can break all the totem gods of Huangfufeng, which is already very scary. They did see that in this terrifying duel, the result was known. Both of them looked pale, and it seemed that their totem images were shattered. Huangfufeng took a deep breath and stabilized his body. In fact, the loss of the totem image made him lose most of his combat power, but as long as he didn't have the forbidden dragon image, he would definitely win. He didn't expect that he would win so easily. But after all, he still won. Next, there was still a chance to make Zhang Zizai pay the price. Seeing that Zhang Zizai was also covered in dust, he had already smiled. When he was about to speak, everything he saw in front of him made his smile gradually solidify. Around Zhang Zizai, many black auras combined to reform his totem image, chaos-swallowing sky dragon. And Huangfufeng's eternal chaos star dragon absolutely disappeared. He felt again that the opponent's forbidden dragon image's suppression still existed, but it just prevented him from recondensing the totem image. In this case, he was completely stagnant. Then in the next moment, the cold Zhang Zizai directly attacked with the heavenly sacrifice dragon god halberd. The totem god image turned into a black vortex again, and the terrifying swallowing force directly acted on Huangfufeng. Time-breaking blade, sky-splitting slash. The heavenly sacrifice dragon god halberd attacked continuously, forcing Huangfufeng to be in a mess. In a moment of carelessness, Zhang Zizai's 5 Emperor's dragon seal hit his chest directly, and he flew backwards and fell heavily to the ground. At that moment, the whole audience suffocated. Sorry that I wrote 3 chapters today, I'm not in a good state. I've been writing for a day and have a headache. Maybe I'm too tired these days. I'll continue tomorrow. If there are number 4 chapters, I'll be an idiot. Wow. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1142. The time reverse dragon formation will reflect the damage Huangfufeng received on the battlefield in his body. Outside the time reverse dragon formation, the 5 Emperor's dragon seal cannot hurt him, but inside the time reverse dragon formation, the 5 Emperor's dragon seal can seriously injure him. Now Huangfufeng flew out of the battlefield and fell to the ground with serious injuries, which is already a state of serious injury. However, after leaving the time reverse dragon formation, his recovery ability returned to normal. This level of injury only defeated him, but could not leave him with anything. It will not be long before he is almost done. But even so, the defeat is a fact, and it is meaningless to say anything else. Now the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield has fallen into absolute silence. They are fighting against 2 people, one is still on the battlefield, and the other has fallen to the ground. One is in great glory, and the other is in terrible misery. The top 30 of the Supreme list are often challenged, but few fall down. This is the most genius among all the godly lords. And Zhang Zizai, starting from more than 300, went all the way up in just over half a year and finally killed 30. This time, for most people, is just a blink of an eye. At such an age, it is very rare to reach the 5th level of the Divine Lord realm. Zhang Zizai has not reached this level. He defeated his opponent with the strength of the 2nd level of the Divine Lord realm at most. This is particularly unbearable. So to be honest, many people are speechless about this ending. On the Supreme list, Zhang Zizai is already 27, which means that he can now enter the Hidden Dragon Sea to practice, but Huang Fufeng has lost this qualification. You know, he is the 9th level of the Divine Lord realm, stronger than the God King of Tiandu. If it weren't for the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield, they wouldn't have the qualifications to compete together. The time-reversing dragon formation is sometimes not so fair. That's not the case. Logically, Huang Fufeng shouldn't have much combat experience, and Zhang Zizai doesn't have any God King level totem weapons, so Huang Fufeng should have more advantages, but he didn't make use of this advantage. Huang Fufeng was defeated, which is really shameful. Their Huangfu family was beaten by Zhang Zizai from beginning to end, which was simply a clearance. It's really embarrassing to put it that way. More than embarrassing. What do you think will happen in Huangfu Feng's heart? The Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield is not a place for real strength competition. He was defeated and humiliated by such a junior. Can he endure it? Anyway, Zhang Zizai is really a rare existence. No wonder he can be related to the immortal venerable. Such discussions have long been heard throughout the entire Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield. Huang Fufeng can hear these words. He positioned himself too high, so when he was defeated, his mind was still blank for a long time. When he raised his head, those eyes were too scary. He never thought that he would be defeated like this, but now, he felt a knife stabbing in his heart. He especially didn't dare to look at Mu Xiaoxian, because it was really difficult to admit that he was embarrassed in front of a beauty. Now he could only hide silently without looking back, so that his mood would be stable. With his experience, he knew that he couldn't panic now. Zhang Zizai, it's really good. He raised his head. Anyway, he had already lost the battle, so he might as well be generous, so that he wouldn't just look embarrassed. Thank you. Zhang Zizai was too lazy to be unreasonable. He came down from the battle platform this time, and the purpose of the qualification of Kang Longhai had been achieved, so there was no need to entangle too much. The two seemed harmonious, but who couldn't see what kind of storms were hidden in this peaceful conversation? Huang Fufeng was no longer in the reverse dragon formation. Huang Fufeng and the entire Huangfu family no longer wanted to stay here and be pointed at. They didn't need to say anything, just turned around and left. The lost dignity needs to be found by oneself, but the Supreme Hidden Dragon battlefield is a place where dignity cannot be found, because Huang Fufeng cannot change what his strength was when he was in his 20s, that is history. No one stopped Huang Fufeng, even if he was defeated. His status and position would not change, and people who cannot be provoked, still cannot be provoked. After Huang Fufeng left, Zhang Zizai also wanted to leave. He took Long Yan back first, and then prepared to go to Kang Longhai. Suddenly, a fragrant breeze came from behind. Looking back, it turned out to be the Xianlong Mu family. They were led by Mu Xiaoxian and faced Zhang Zizai. Mu Xiaoao also followed behind. She was still a little unhappy with Zhang Zizai, so she had some discussions about why her sister came to find this guy. Zhang Zizai Mu Xiaoxian looked at him, and there seemed to be no Long Yan next to him in her eyes. In fact, Long Yan's appearance is also attractive, but it seems strange and dark in front of the holy Mu Xiaoxian. But if you look closely, Zhang Zizai must still like Yan'er. The more you look at her, the more attractive she is. Is there anything? Zhang Zizai was about to leave. You are going to Kang Longhai for the first time, right? Do you need someone to guide you? I know a few places where the true dragon heart may be. She smiled slightly, with a hint of temptation in her smile. This means that we can travel together in Kanglonghai. Mu Xiaoxian is too confident in her appearance and talent. She likes to let more people discuss her in such an interesting way. Perhaps in her opinion, Zhang Zizai is simply impossible to refuse, even for the true dragon heart. As for what her purpose is, it is unknown. The invitation of such a beauty is really enviable. You should know that outside the battlefield of the supreme hidden dragon, Zhang Zizai is just a little brother to Mu Xiaoxian. It is simply one of the dreams of life to have such a big sister to guide him. And this is the opportunity that Huang Fufeng lost. Huang Fufeng must have dreamed of it. So, people looked at Zhang Zizai with envy, and naturally felt that his peach blossom luck was too good. Not only did he have a mortal wish with such a supreme figure as the immortal venerable, but he also had a childhood sweetheart with outstanding talent like Long Yan, and now Mu Xiaoxian and her sister are also approaching him, all of whom are beautiful. In the eyes of everyone's envy, Zhang Zizai's answer was surprising. He said, "Sister, I'd better go alone. After all, I'm afraid of delaying my sister's practice." He actually refused, although it was very tactful, but it was definitely a refusal. This was just to avoid hurting Mu Xiaoxian's face a little. I said, "This guy is a wooden man." Mu Xiaoao rolled her eyes.